Thanks for joining us. We have KJ52 with us, Mr. KJ5 Tweezy. And we thank you for joining the Trackstarz again. It's been about a year since your last interview. And I know some things have progressed in that time. Last year, you announced that you were working on a project with Derek Minor. And so
Yeah,
we wanted to catch up and see, get the update. I know you had started a Pledge Music Drive, and
yeah, just today.
yeah, so that's awesome. And so we wanted to get a couple insights from you, if you would, some updates on what's going on, and just see where you're at in this part of your life.
Absolutely.
So, um, real quick, if you don't mind, I wanted to give you. I call this the lightning round. I'm gonna spit out two options, and you just pick one
Okay.
as fast as you can. So, DC or Marvel,
Marvel.
Windows down or AC,
Oh man, it's Florida. You got to go AC.
Italian or Mexican food,
Uh, See, like both of those, it depends on who's cooking it. uh, I am Italian, so it makes it a little tougher to decide. Pass. I'm gonna say Mediterranean.
metal or country,
You say, oh, metal or meadow?
Metal like heavy metal or
Oh,
country
metal.
music,
Gotcha, gotcha. I'm going country probably.
football or basketball,
Football.
Logic or Pro Tools,
Neither. Digital performer.
Mac or PC.
Mac all day.
All right, all right. Thank you for that. We just wanted to get the juices flowing real quick. So
Absolutely.
so yeah, the new project Jonah. Can you tell us a little bit about the thing behind it? What's the meaning of it, and what's going on with that?
Well, I mean, it's been about a year plus in the making, but I think I'm just at a different stage in my life where I've been doing this for quite a while. So a lot of the way that I think and a lot of the way that I operate and write in, not always, but at least I've noticed is it's more in a reflective kind of way. And I felt like Jonah naming it after my real name when for so long I've been known by this stage name uh, kind of implies a degree of saying, let me show you some transparency. Let me show you a little bit more that maybe you haven't seen. It would be like if someone come up to me and call me KJ and I say, hey man, call me Jonah. Or if someone says, what's your name? What should I call you by? And I just say, you can call me either. It really doesn't matter. That's kind of what's implied there. And I mean, you could look at Jonah. He was obviously a guy who ran from God, and that's definitely a picture of my life at one point. But was used to do some very unorthodox things. He's the only Hebrew prophet to go to a whole nother area that was not his. He went there reluctantly. He did things that people didn't expect him to do, and how he got there was a very abstract way, and that's pretty much me to a T right there.
Well, that's
So,
cool. That's cool. Would you prefer me call you Jonah or KJ?
you know what? Either one is fine. Does not matter.
Alrighty. So, releasing this independently. What are some pros and cons of doing it independently, and what are some of the things that you might miss from a record label as to doing it independently?
Well, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I've been moving towards this, man, I would say almost 8 years ago, and not in exact ways, but just understanding that, I saw where music was shifting to, and that if you don't take hold of your career, you're not going to survive. So even though I was in a major label system forever, I knew I just had to start thinking differently. And that's really where I started too. I mean, when I got my record deal, I put out 2 projects before I ever got signed. So none of that is really new to me. But I guess maybe just having a team, you know what I mean, would be nice, But I'm so early in this process. I don't know if I can really answer it yet. I think yet I want to say, come see me in 6 months when my hair's pulled out. But honestly, everything at this point has been all the positive. It has renewed my passion. It has been so freeing. I guess the difference is I just have more experience this time around.
So does it feel like a new kind of start, like when you first started out?
Yes and no. I mean, when I first started out, it was, you know, I can't even just say the music industry. I said the world was in a different space. Um, so yeah, in some aspects it is, but in other aspects it's like, man, I've got 16 years of doing what I do to pull from. So, you know, those things I'm just kind of frankly still kind of amazed that I get to do what I get to do, on this level.
Right, right. That's cool. So I wanted to pick your brain on some of the business aspects behind releasing music. I'm a business guy myself. I'm getting ready to graduate my bachelor's in business, and I have a business with a podcast. And I know you do a lot of business seminars. So one
Yeah.
thing, one thing we do at Trackstars is we try to help independent artists kind of build up their brand and get their music out there. Are there any kind of tips that you could share with the independent artists out there who are really trying to make it in today's climate of the music industry?
Yeah, I guess the best analogy I could say is, how do you eat an elephant? You would eat an elephant one bite at a time, but most people don't think about it that way. People think eating an elephant or trying to kill an elephant, or it's impossible. It's too big to bite off. But I think the problem with a lot of independent artists is they're literally trying to go for the elephant instead of realizing that the meal is a couple bites in front of you. Um, you know, it's just so much. It's just our natural inclination to want to look at whatever the highest level of anything is and aspire for that. But the reality is, you really have to look at going, how can I build my tribe? And your tribe is your immediate circle. It is those that get you, they understand you, they support you, they basically just, they are your tribe. And if you look at a tribe versus a nation or a kingdom, one is smaller, it's more condensed. And we always want the kingdom, but we don't want the tribe first. And you really have to start with the tribe. And that's the way music industry is now. I mean, for a long time, the music industry was a totalitarian government that was like ran by one, thing and one way only. And it's not like that anymore. People elect their own officials, if you could use that analogy. So you are better running for office on a local level. That's the best way I could compare it to, is run for office on a local level. And then you'll see things grow from there. That was like 17 analogies. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. I like those analogies. I always say that starting small right in your neighborhood is always the best first step to take, instead of trying to go
Yeah.
out and gain 1,000 followers at one time, do one at a time. So
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Now, another question that some people had is, with you doing this for a long time, and you being a vet, kind of in the CHH realm. What are there any things that you like to do to try to stay relevant to new listeners, or is there anything that you like to try to keep up with or keep track of? Anything in that nature?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always tried to do that. I don't think there's ever not been a time where I haven't tried to stay up with what's going on. And that's just because I'm still a fan of the music and I'm still a fan of the culture. But I say, from my own personal thing, is that I've always tried to surround myself with people that are younger than me, that are more inclined to things that I'm not maybe passionate about, but I understand are also necessary. So if I got to say anybody at this point, it would be a guy like Derek Minor, exactly the way he is. It's just learning how to contextualize what works for him, or for those that are in the current sound, and contextualize it so it works for me. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I'm not sitting here trying to be a turn up, you know, mumble rapper by any means. But I also have to understand, well, why do people like that? That may not be my thing, but I have to at least go, what is it about that somebody likes? And for me to blow it off or not be interested in it is career suicide. So guys like Derek, on countless little areas, have been able to just honestly just speak into my life. And I give him a lot of freedom to do that. I'll be like, what do you think about this? No. What do you think about this? No, no, no. That's probably why this has taken so long. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just getting to the point now where I feel like I've found a way to do what is current, what is still me. I've still found a way to just pull it all together. Not that I have it figured out, but for guys that have been in it as long as I have, is to want to write off the next generation. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just very dangerous.
Yeah.
I think you can learn from anybody, and you should.
Yeah, that's good. So with this particular album, with a lot of your previous stuff, you had, some more fun tracks. Then you had some serious tracks. Is this going to follow uh, the same kind of structure in your album?
I'm sorry, say it again.
With your previous albums, you had some more fun tracks, some funny stuff, and then you had the
Yeah,
serious songs. Is this going to kind of follow that same pattern?
yeah. It's funny you would say that. The only thing strategic about it was me going, this is who I am. I'm just going to show you every part of my personality. I'm not going to make songs that I made when I was 25, 27, 30 years old because I'm just not in that mind state anymore. Now, there is, of course, but there's parts of me that kind of go, I can't make some of that stuff. I just can't make the fact that I'm not in that headspace. And there is a song on the new record. It's called the Get Down, Get Down. And it's the closest thing I would say to that sort of lighthearted vibe, but
Gotcha.
it's not a tribute to a carbonated beverage or a haircut or a food item. You know what I'm saying? So it was my goal was to kind of ride that fine line. So you take a guy like Macklemore, who some may criticize for saying he's too silly or he's too not serious, but I think he would be a guy that sort of rides that fine line of self-deprecation, but still kind of has something to say thing on it. And of course, everyone just goes crazy with it. And I'm like, here we go again. Like the thing that took me 2 seconds to do with no thought out, no real anything, all of a sudden I see traction
Right.
versus stuff that I feel is lyrical or is something to say. So my answer to you is this is probably the first record where I'm making it with the fans. So what ends up happening, I can't even tell you yet because where this winds up now, am I going to do a Mountain Dew Part 2? Absolutely not. Am I going to do Coke Fried Cheeseburger or any of those things? Of course not. There's not going to be any of that stuff. But will there be some stuff that reflects my personality? Honestly, as an independent artist now, I feel like absolutely. There's no reason why I should not be doing that. So,
Yeah, yeah. I think that's good. Do has it? How does your being a family man and your family inspire your music that you make? Is there any pull that you get from your family that you like to incorporate into your music? Like a lot of artists will like to use family situations, talk about those kind of things. Are you going to kind of follow that pattern in this? Or not pattern, but are you going to implement that kind of
yeah.
emotion?
Um, yeah. Well, kind of part of what you just said just kind of slurred out. So I'm going to guess. I'm pretty much saying you're saying, how does family inspire my music?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay. It's a couple things. One, my oldest son is now kind of getting at an age where he's really getting into music. Now, the stuff he's into is like, Juju on that beat and, you know, uh, Whip It Nay Nay, and he dabs constantly. So he's a 9-year-old. He's a typical 9-year-old. But it's amazing to watch what he gravitates to because I kind of give him free reign to do his own Spotify and like make his own playlist. And what he gravitates to, I'm cognizant of because I still think, not that I'm making music for 9-year-olds, but I go, what grabs him out of this music? So that's an influence. But yeah, actually, to be honest, man, there's a song I wrote on the new record. It's called Lockdown, and it's a song I wrote to my wife, but not your typical, yeah, girl, you my queen. I didn't do that kind of song. You're my Proverbs 31:30 woman. It was really the perspective of someone. It was the perspective of someone. Like we always hear love songs about young love, or we hear songs about meeting the person, or no one ever talks about being in a committed relationship for a long time, probably because it's very rare these days. But I've been married coming up on 19 years. So I want to speak into the perspective of someone who has been in a committed relationship, and the beauty of a woman that ages over time and is a mother, and there's beauty in those things. So literally, what you're hearing is kind of like the experience of my life from the first date till now, and that's a track I did with B. Wright.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
And Derek produced it, so
Okay.
it's really dope.
Speaking of production, did he do much of the production, or did you have a different team?
Did Derek?
Yeah.
Well, as of right now, the production is I have 4 songs from a guy named Pete Stewart, who I've worked with continuously over the years. Derek has currently done 2 tracks. He's featured on another track that Marv Mo Beats did, and yeah. So basically, he's the funny thing is, even though he's only produced 2 tracks, and he may end up doing more. Again, this is like this is the first time I've ever done this record. His hand is all over this record. Even if he had nothing to do with the song, I can guarantee you I ran that song by him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or there's times where he suggested somebody that could do this, or you know what I mean. So while he's only done 2, and he's going to be featured on 1, his hand is everywhere on the record.
Gotcha. Sounds good. And is there is
Get
this?
that?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. You were moving a little. You were moving a little bit, and it kind of skipped.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But is this mostly going to be you on this album, or do you have a lot of other features?
No, actually, it's pretty guest heavy.
Oh, okay.
The track that I did with Derek, even though Derek didn't produce it, it's a throwback to the old lyrical punchline, rappity rap for the sake of rap and KJ, except it's just done on a more current track. It's like a Drake type beat. The song I did with B. Wright, that's more of what you would call like a tropical house kind of track. Cannon and BC is featured on another song called Nabra. And then Chris August and Byron Talkbox, they're featured on probably the most pop song of the record called Best Day Ever. And then currently it's funny to say these things because normally I never would have said this stuff in the past. I would have been like, I'm working on somebody else, and I would have kept it in this. But now I'm like, you know what, everyone, we're making the record together, I might as well tell you. So the other song I'm actually currently working on is with Mac Powell from Third Day. And then there's a little, I don't know, he's not unknown, but a guy named Kurt Anderson who is on one of my favorite songs called Hold On. And Sean Johnson is on another song called Day Job. Okay. And who knows what could still happen. I'll be honest with you, I'm aiming for 8 songs, but at the rate that it's going, if this gets, if my pledge gets fulfilled early, right, I'm just going to keep adding songs. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for me not to add more tracks. I'm not making a double album, but I'm saying there's no reason for me to continue to work. So again, brand new way of doing things. I've never done this before, but it's actually really dope. It's like having a focus group while you made a record. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I know in a lot of businesses now, crowdfunding is the way to go. I know Disciple, Demon Hunter, a lot of the rock groups are doing heavy crowdfunding. And so, I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that from independent hip hop artists as yourself. And so,
you know what though? I don't even know if Christian hip hop is even aware of stuff like this.
Oh, really?
To be honest with you.
Wow.
No, man, they're not. They're a lot of the Christian hip hop guys they're still on an old model thought process. I mean, I thought of crowdfunding before too. It wasn't the right time for me. So, and to be honest with you, this is a different sort of platform than the typical crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is like, we got 30 grand, we're trying to make a record, let's hit it. This is totally different. I'm never going to disclose what my amount is. That's not what I do on this crowdfunding. This is actually saying, hey guys, let's make the record together, and here are different things that you can purchase based on what you already probably like about me. I do graffiti art, so you can bring me in to do graffiti art. I like sneakers. You can buy a pair of my sneakers that I use in a video shoot. I have two unreleased CDs that are filled with unreleased songs that are never put out, that essentially you can get that. You know what I mean? I'm doing vinyl for the first time. It's just like, it's a totally different mindset. You know what I'm saying? You're
Wow.
selling yourself, for lack of a better term. And you can even just go, you know what? I don't want anything. I just want to donate to what you do. You can totally do that too. So it's just a different platform. And that's honestly why I picked it.
Wow. That's cool.
Because
So,
my thing is, here's my thing. Bottom line, I've always tried to live by this philosophy. We should all walk away winning.
amen.
You know? That's the way we should walk away. Everyone should walk away winning. And that's the way I feel like this platform does.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And we did share the link on the Trackstarz website. So
Thank you.
hopefully you'll get a lot of the Trackstarz universe to be able to pitch in there and help out the vet in the game.
Awesome.
So
Every time people say that, I just shake my head. It's like saying you're the tallest midget.
okay, I'll just say you're one of my favorites in the game. There we go. So
Thank you. I'll take either one is fine. I'll wear it with pride. Either title.
so with current music, who are your top three artists right now that you like to listen to?
Just, you mean mainstream Christian?
Just anybody. I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, I'd be the first one to get myself in trouble. I don't know if I have a top three. I can just tell you what the last bunch of stuff I just listened to was.
Okay.
I went back and re-listened to Matt Carney's record today, and it was just really, there's something really honest about his music. I dug B. Wright's little EP he put out. I think Derek Minor is super underappreciated for what he brings. His diversity is insane, and I don't think he gets enough credit for the things he can do. And I didn't even know it, too. I'm trying to think of other stuff that I've just rocked with in the last little while. It's so weird how music is now. It's like, even if I like something, I don't even go back and re-listen to it. Like, we're all so spoiled. I listened to the new Tribe record I thought was really dope. Kendrick stuff. Macklemore's new record. I don't know. Honestly, man, I'm just a fan of music. So,
Gotcha.
But I take it like food. I eat it and I'm gone to the next, which is a sad reflection.
Yeah, I understand. Whenever I buy new albums, I'll listen to the old album a couple times, and then I'll just grab a couple songs and throw it on my playlist, and then I'll listen to it
Yeah,
every once in a while. So I can
yeah.
definitely understand that.
And that's kind of why this is cool for me, because I get to kind of weed out what I feel is going to be a waste of time for the record. And I kind of get to, like, really. The best way I heard this put is, like, we're not making albums anymore. We're making playlists. That's really what we're doing. We're making playlists for people.
That's true. That's true. There was a question of the day that DJ Jeremiah just posted up on Twitter and all the social media that said, "Would you rather have 10 multi-platinum singles or 10 really really great singles or one really dope album?" And so I'll ask you, what would you rather? What do you think's better, to have a whole lot of great singles or one really phenomenal album?
One great album or 10 applications for singles. I am in that mindset now. But yeah, I'm still old school. I would still go for the album. I still would love a classic album over, you know. And that may be just me, because I'm just very lyric driven. I want to say things, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So
So speaking of albums, which of your albums could you say one would be your favorite that you've done? Okay, so if you could give a lot of uh, a lot of young teenagers and college kids coming up right now, if you could give a good piece of life advice, just in general, uh, to those who may watch this interview, what would be something that you would really want them to grasp early on at this stage in their life?
So I'm guessing you just said, what would I say to young people and college kids coming up? I'm assuming that's
Yes.
what you just said. Uh, it's funny you would say something. I think that's what you said. You said, I'm actually uh, about to launch a service at my local church that is geared towards young adults. and it's all based on a series that I taught last year that I just made up myself called 20 Things I Wish I Knew at 20. And the reason why I picked that is because I feel like most teenagers ascribe to be 20, whereas most 30-year-olds want to be 20 again, and most people in their 20s have no idea what they're doing in their 20s. So rather than giving you one piece of advice, I would say actually the great thing is you're going to be able to tune in to everything I'm doing in the next 5 to 6 months. Because not only am I leading this message series, I mean this young adult ministry, I'm also putting all that curriculum and information out there for the public. So
Cool.
stay tuned.
Awesome. Awesome. Alrighty. Well, I think that will wrap it up. We do appreciate your time and hanging out with the Trackstarz, getting back in the field with us. And I would ask you to do a freestyle, but I'm afraid the video is going to completely shut down if we do that.
Yeah, I'm afraid about that too. I'll tell you what, maybe next time I'm coming through Atlanta, which will be in about a month or two, we could do something on the spot. How about that?
Okay, good, good. Yeah, that'd be great if you could come through the studio, and I'm sure the guys would really, really appreciate that. So, well, KJ52, we thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to your new album. Do you have any idea when the release date might, or do you have a goal of a release date, or are you still just in the process of working on the album?
I'm not really sure what you just said. I'm assuming it's a sign off and a thank you. I will say also the same thing back to you. Thank you, and God bless.
All right, bye.
See you later.